Welcome, dear friends, to Whatever You Need, the home of stories that breathe life, emotion, and art into your screen. Before we dive into today's cinematic storm of passion and pain, don't forget to subscribe, like, and click the join button to support our growing family. Every tap, every comment, every moment you spend with us keeps this channel alive, and trust me, today's story will stay in your heart long after the video ends. There are films that entertain, and then there are films that consume you. Love and Tears, the upcoming project starring Barış Arduç and Hande Erçel, belongs to that rare second kind. At first glance, it appears to follow the familiar rhythm of a spy thriller, encrypted codes, silent chases through dark alleys, and secrets buried deep beneath government walls. But peel back that surface, and you find something far more fragile and haunting, a tale about the human soul's war with itself. At its center stands Ferman, a man carved out of silence and duty. Portrayed by Barış Arduç, Ferman lives between shadows, serving his country in missions that must never be spoken of. His existence is measured, almost mechanical, until one fateful encounter changes everything. That encounter's name is Say, brought to life by Hande Erçel in what might be her most emotionally complex role to date. Say is a woman pursued by ghosts, her every step echoing with memories that refuse to fade. When her path collides with Ferman's, something extraordinary happens, two broken universes collapse into one. And from that collision, a dangerous, impossible love begins to bloom. This is not a love story wrapped in soft music and happy endings. Love and Tears drags its audience through the wilderness of human pain, the kind that makes you question who you are and what you're willing to lose for love. Ferman and Say do not love with ease, they love through survival. They fight, they fall, they shatter, and yet, somehow, their connection endures, fragile but unbreakable, like light trapped inside cracked glass. The mastermind behind this emotional odyssey is Kenan Kaya, the director who gave Turkish cinema unforgettable masterpieces like Ayla and Muslim. His direction turns silence into dialogue and shadows into confessions. From the very first trailer, his artistic fingerprints are everywhere, the lighting trembles between despair and hope, and even a single tear feels like poetry. Every masterpiece hides stories behind the scenes, and Love and Tears is no different. The first day of filming began in total silence. The air was thick with nerves. Lights glowed softly, cameras stood ready. Hande Erçel sat in a quiet corner, breathing slowly, her eyes focused on the script as if she were speaking to Say herself. Across the room, Barış Arduç rehearsed the same line over and over, walking in circles like a soldier before battle. Action, the director called, and in that exact instant, chaos descended. An extra tripped over a table, sending glasses crashing to the ground. The noise was deafening. For a heartbeat, the crew froze. Then, unexpectedly, laughter broke out, wild, unstoppable laughter. Hande's laughter echoed first, pure and contagious. Barış followed, doubled over, tears in his eyes. What could have been a disaster became a moment of unity. The ice melted, the tension vanished, and from that day on, the atmosphere on set was filled with light. Later in an interview, Hande recalled, "Every time I looked into Barış's eyes during filming, I remembered that laughter. It made every emotional scene feel real, like we were breathing through pain together." And hey, before we continue, let's make this a conversation. Tell us in the comments, what's your favorite on-screen duo in Turkish cinema? Would you like to see Barış and Hande together again in another genre, maybe a historical drama, or a futuristic romance? Your thoughts fuel our next videos, so drop your opinions below. And while you're here, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and click the join button to become a part of Whatever You Need's community of film lovers who live for stories like this one. For Barış Arduç, Love and Tears wasn't just another role, it was an inner pilgrimage. He spent months preparing for Furman, not only through physical training, but also by consulting psychologists to understand the depth of trauma and silence. This film made me question my own fears, he confessed in an interview. One of the most haunting scenes demanded that he wander through a dark forest, alone, drenched in rain, hunted by invisible fears. It was filmed under freezing conditions, with no breaks. It wasn't acting anymore, Barış said later. It felt like I was truly living Furman's nightmares. That raw authenticity is what makes this film pulse with realism. Every breath, every glance carries emotional gravity, something that no script alone could manufacture. Hande Erçel, on the other hand, stepped into a new artistic dimension. Known for her effortless charm in romantic comedies, she surrendered to Say's darkness with courage and grace. Say's pain didn't leave me, she admitted. Even when filming ended, she followed me home. There were nights when Hande couldn't sleep, haunted by her own character's sorrow. Yet despite the weight of the role, she became the beating heart of the set, always smiling, always brightening the mood. One day, during a short break, she decided to prank Barış. She offered him a cup of coffee, but secretly added a few drops of lemon juice. Barış took a sip, froze, and then burst into laughter. "What did you do to my coffee?" he asked. Hande replied playfully, "I just gave it a twist." That joke became legendary, a small moment that perfectly captured the friendship and warmth behind the intensity of their performances. When the trailer dropped, the internet exploded. Hashtags like #BarışArduç and #LoveandTears dominated the trending lists within hours. Viewers were transfixed by a single shot, Furman and Say standing in the rain, eyes locked, saying nothing. That silence spoke louder than words. TikTok flooded with edits, montages, and fan theories. One comment read, "This isn't acting, it's electricity." Another said, "They're not just characters, they're two souls recognizing each other." YouTube reactions followed the same rhythm. "This is the chemistry Turkish cinema has been missing." Fans compared the movie's tone to classic Hollywood epics, saying it reminded them of the days when films dared to make people feel deeply. As filming wrapped, director Can Olcay gathered his cast and crew for one last speech. His words lingered like poetry. "We didn't just make a film, we captured the heartbeat of sleepless souls. Those who love even when it hurts, those who remember even when they want to forget." The room fell silent. Hande's tears shimmered under the studio lights. Barış placed a hand on her shoulder and whispered, "The film may end here, but its story lives in us forever." That intimate moment was the perfect farewell, an emotional punctuation to a journey built on vulnerability, laughter, and courage. And that, dear viewers, is Love and Tears, not just a movie, but an experience written in heartbeats and shadows. It asks each of us to look inward, to face our own fears and regrets, and to remember that even in the darkest nights, love can still whisper through the silence. Before you go, let me remind you once more, if you felt something while watching, if you believe in stories that make you think, cry, and dream, then subscribe to Whatever You Need. Hit that like button, share your thoughts below, and if you want to help us bring even more stories like this to life, click the join button and become part of our creative family. Because here on Whatever You Need, we don't just talk about art, we feel it, breathe it, and live it. Until next time, keep your hearts open, your minds curious, and your nights sleepless, for the best stories always begin there.